You filed for your I-140, check the Visa Bulletin, and now you're staring at NVC and DS-260. Like, what's next? Don't panic. This is the step that actually moves your green card forward. Stick with me, and I'll walk you through the actual DS-260 that I filled out myself back in 2020. First things first. What is NVC? It is the National Visa Center, the middleman between USCIS and your US Embassy. They organize your case and make sure everything is ready for your immigrant visa interview. And the DS-260, important clarification, this is not a paper form. It is an online immigrant visa application. Think of it as your official digital introduction to US immigration. Fill it out correctly online and you speed up your interview. Mess it up and you're stuck waiting. Here's why it matters. This step is what actually triggers your embassy interview. If your documents are missing, incomplete, or have typos, your timeline can get delayed for months. You don't want that. Before you start filling out your DS-260, gather all information you'll ever need, such as your passport details, travel history, family addresses, employment history, etc. because the system locks you out after 20 minutes of inactivity. Think of it as prepping for a mini trivia game. If you're ready, you win. All right, nurses, no need to grab a pen and paper. That's old school. Head instead on the description section where I list down all the parts and subparts of your DS-260. For this section, I am going to divide this into 5 parts. Step 1 would be how to log into CEAC website. Step 2 would be prepping your information. Step 3, completing the DS-260 online. Step 4 would be uploading required documentation. And Step 5, submitting the DS-260 and printing the confirmation page. First step would be to access the CEAC website by going to the ceac.state.gov website. Under Immigrant Visa, click on DS-260 Online Immigrant Visa and Alien Registration Application. Enter your NVC case number and invoice ID. I just want to repeat, enter your NVC case number and your invoice ID. So if you're wondering where to get this number, both of these are sent to you by the NVC after your I-140 is approved and your case is transferred from USCIS. This is according to the NVC process. Check your emails and the NVC welcome letter. These are usually included in that initial notification. Personally, I first saw my NVC case number on the CEAC confirmation email and my invoice ID number on the NVC fee bill email. Pro tip: make sure your case number and invoice ID numbers are handy before you start. You don't want to be hunting through emails midway through the form. Step number 2, prep all your information. Filling out your DS-260 form should be a fun part of your green card application. But here's the buzzkill. The system logs you out after a certain time. So don't start without all your information ready, or at least save your progress as you go through each section. Step number 3, complete the DS-260 online. Fill out each section carefully. That includes your personal information, addresses and phone, family information, previous US travel, work, education and training, petitioner information, security and background, social security number. Double check everything. Accuracy is everything. Mistakes as small as typo errors can cause delays, and we don't have time for that. Click save frequently as you go. So now we are on the most tedious part of your DS-260. Starting with personal, this section should be easy to fill out but can get complicated when your naming is complicated, inconsistently recorded, or you have issues of some sort. For surnames, enter all surnames as listed in your passport or travel documentation. If only one name is listed, enter that as your surname. Commonly, we present our passport as a means of legal identification. So, however complicated or inconsistently recorded your surname is, always use that surname that's indicated on your passport. As for your given name, this includes your first name and any middle name that is listed on your passport or travel documentation. If your passport or travel documentation does not include any given name, please enter the acronym FNU in given name. This means first name unknown. Again, hardly a problem for Filipinos. And lastly, other names includes your maiden name, religious name, professional name, or any other names by which you are known or have been known in the past. This does not include your nickname. Addresses and phone. This section will not only ask for your address and phone, it will also ask for your previous addresses, social media, and travel documentation. So let's start with previous addresses. This should only include those addresses at which you establish a residence. If you're in your 20s to mid-30s, you will not have to include addresses like university or college campus housing. I mention this because you will be asked to provide all addresses where you've established residences since turning 16. Social media. You will need to provide social media platforms that you've used in the last 5 years. You will be asked to provide the username and handle that you've used on each platform. Gather this information in advance. For travel documentation, you will need to enter the information on the travel document you will be using when traveling to the US. Your travel document should be a valid, unexpired, and sufficient to establish your identity and nationality. Usually this is your passport. Also, on this section, you will be asked whether you hold or have held any nationality other than the one you have already indicated. Be ready as well with your previous and present mailing addresses. Family information. So long as you have the list of names of your parents, children, spouses, and previous spouses and the respective dates of birth, you should be able to ace this part. Previous US travel. There are 3 important questions that are being asked on this section. They are answerable by yes and no, with reasoning if needed. The first question would be, have you ever been in the US? So that's pretty much a yes and no question. And the second one would be, have you ever been issued a US visa? If so, you will need to provide details. In my case then, I have an existing 10-year multiple US visa, so I made sure to declare that. The last question would be, have you ever been refused a US visa, been refused admission to the United States, or withdrawn your application for admission at the port of entry? Rare for Filipinos to choose yes as an answer for this question, but throwing this one out there just in case. Present work, education, training. This section can also be a lot. It will ask you to provide information about your current and previous employments and international travels within the last 5 years. Also, in this section, you will be asked about any military service, specialized skills or training, affiliations, and spoken languages other than your native tongue. Petitioner information. Your petitioner is generally the U.S. person or business who made a formal request that you be considered for an immigrant visa or permanent legal residence. Your petition is generally your U.S. employer. The address and phone number you provide for your employer petitioner should be your employer petitioner's legal address as listed on the I-140 immigrant petitioner for alien worker filed on your behalf. The email address you provide for the petitioner may be used for correspondence purposes. Please provide an email address that is secure and to which your petitioner has reasonable access. Security and background. This section asks for your medical and health information and the presence of communicable diseases of public health significance such as tuberculosis, documentation to establish that you have received vaccinations in accordance with U.S. law, and a mental or physical disorder that poses or is likely to pose a threat to the safety or welfare of yourself or others. It will also ask if you are or have history of drug abuse or addiction. Lastly, criminal and immigration law violation. Social Security number. There's only one question for this part. Have you ever applied for a Social Security number? If you're not aware, A social security number, or so-called SSN, is a 9-digit number issued to U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and temporary residents present in the U.S. for the purpose of employment and is issued by the Social Security Administration. And we're on to step 4. We're almost done. We need to upload your documentation. So you will need a digital copy of the following: passport bio page, birth certificate, marriage certificate, police certificates from all countries you've lived in since the age of 16, nursing license and transcripts, evaluation of your nursing education, job offer letter from your U.S. employer, I-140 approval notice, photographs per embassy specifications, and medical exam results. And lastly, step 5, once all information is complete and documents uploaded, we have to submit the form. You also will need to print the confirmation page because that will be used or needed on your embassy interview. And we're done! That's NVC and DS-260 plus a little trip down memory lane. Remember, the DS-260 is only available online, and always prepare your information before starting so you don't get left out. Once you submitted it, your next big milestone is the medical examination. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this with anyone stressing out on DS-260 paperwork. This is Ed signing off. See you again next Sunday, 9 a.m. PST for the next big thing, your medical examination.